right, we are on to the second page of our study guide for our test, which is going to be next Thursday. I was talking with some of you today. You said that the first page seemed not too bad, pretty easy. Some of you even tried out numbers 5 and 6. I will tell you that on number 5, there is a typo. There is a typo. So if you want to try number 5, the answer for B is not 100. It is 1,000 times. So if you wanted to try that out, make sure you do have the right answer. But again, we're not there yet. We haven't learned this in class, so don't worry about numbers 5 and 6. We're on to the second page, and we can do all the problems on the second page. So hopefully you've already done the problems. I would really like for you to have them done, and then come and watch and see if you did it right, as opposed to doing it with me, only because if you do it with me, you'll get it right then, but will you get right on the test if I'm not there with you? So try to do it yourself and then come back and check it. So here we go with number 10. Find the product. We know it's a multiplication problem, so I'm going to set it up. 842 times 57. Now I can see that I have a 2-digit number, which means that I am going to have to zero and cross out. Here we go. 7 times 2 is 14. Carry your 1. Write your 4. 7 times 4 is 28. Plus 1 is 29. Carry your 2. Write your 9. 7 times 8 is 56. Plus 2 is 58. Now we got to move on over to our 5, so we need to say a 0 and cross out. 0 and cross out. Keep going. 5 times 2 is 10. Carry your 1. Bring down your 0. 5 times 4 is 20. Plus 1 is 21. Carry your 2. Bring down your 1. 5 times 8 is 40. Plus 2 is 42. Now we need to add up our two products. 4 plus 0 is 4. 9 plus 0 is 9. 8 plus 1 is 9. 5 plus 2 is 7. And we bring down our 4 for an answer of 47,994. Let's move on to number 11. Number 11, which expressions are equal to 7 times 93? Choose two answers. Circle two answer choices. So we need 2 of these. 2 of these are the right answers. We're looking for something that's equal to 7 times 93. So when I look down here, I can tell that this is going to be an order of operations problem. It looks like they're trying to decompose these numbers, maybe. So I'm going to go over here. I'm going to write my order of operations just to make sure. So when we begin together. Parentheses first, now please be clever. Exponents come right next in line. You can multiply and divide at the same time. Now subtraction and addition. Let's work it out with computations. Here's our order of operations, okay? So we're going to use this to see if these equal 7 times 93.
I've got a special shout out for Mr. Kenny for putting together some easels over the break. Thank you, Mr. Kenny.
Woo, shout out to Mr. Kenny. See what you miss when you guys go home on the bus? All right, let's keep going. 7 times 90 plus 3. So if I were to solve this problem using order of operations, I would do 7 times 90 first. And then I would add 3. Well, that's not what I do when I do 7 times 93. So the answer to A is incorrect. We don't want to do 7 times 90 first. Okay, let's look at B. B says I'm going to do 7 times 90, and I'm going to add it to 7 times 3. Well, that makes sense because they decomposed 93 into 90 and 3. And when I write it out in standard algorithm, what I'm actually doing is 7 times 3, and I'm doing 7 times 90, because that 9's value is 90. So 7 times 3 plus 7 times 90 would give me the right answer. They decomposed 93. So B is the right answer. But again, I need 2, so I need to keep going. The third one, C, says 7 times 90 times 3. So I would do 7 times 90 first, and then I would take that answer and multiply it by 3. And that is not what I'm doing when I solve 7 times 93. So that is incorrect. Let's look at the next one. The next one is 7 times 90 times 7 times 3. Well, that almost seems right because it's almost just like this one. But here's the difference. The difference is in that multiplication symbol, because I'm going to get the answer to 7 times 90 and the answer to 7 times 3, and I'm going to multiply those together. And that's not what I would do when I multiply 7 times 93. It's almost like they decomposed it, but they forgot that it's addition between the 90 plus 3, and they did multiplication instead. That is not a correct answer. Let's look at E. E says 7 times 9 plus 7 times 3. Well, it's kind of like what I'm doing over here, 7 times 3, 7 times 9. But wait a minute, that's not really a 9, that's really a 90. So that's the difference between B and E. Everything else is the same except for in B, it's 90, and in E, it's 9. So they forgot about their place value. So if I were to solve this problem, I would get the wrong answer. So E is not the correct answer. Because I have to choose 2 answer choices, that means F's most likely, right? But let's think about it. 7 times, in parentheses, 90 plus 3. Using my order of operations, I have to solve parentheses first. So I would say 90 plus 3, and then I would do 7 times 93. Well, that's exactly what our problem is up here. So in fact, F is the correct answer. So our 2 answers are B and F. And I know that just by thinking about what would I do if I multiply 7 times 93. I have to use my order of operations and my standard algorithm multiplication. 2 different skills to solve this one problem. These are the types of problem you're going to see on your test. It goes above and beyond just standard algorithm, just order of operations, to combine your information together. Let's look at number 12. Number 12 says, Miss Faclaris needs to bake 738 cookies for Friday on a Saturday. If one batch makes 6 cookies, so that's one batch, makes 6 cookies, how many batches will she need to bake? So this is what I'm trying to figure out. How many batches will she need to bake? So let me think about this. She wants to make 738 cookies. Every batch is going to make 6 cookies. It's going to make 6 cookies in a group, right? Every batch, that's a group. I'm going to make 6 cookies. So like the first batch, I would get 6 cookies. And then the second batch, that would make another 6 cookies. And then the third batch would make another 6 cookies. Well, man, that's going to take me a long time if I add these up to get to 738. That strategy is not going to work. Let me think, well, what if I split up 738 cookies into groups of 6? Then I can figure out how many groups or how many batches she would need. That would make sense, and that's a division problem. So this, number 12, is a division problem. 738 divided by 6. I'm going to take my 738 cookies, and I'm going to divide them into groups of 6 to figure out how many groups or batches I need. So this is a partial quotients problem. So I'm going to set up my think box, and I'm going to set up my problem. 6 into 738. Think box, take my 6. 6 times 100, right? Let's use our partial quotients wrap to help us. It's time to divide. I'll tell you how it's done. Using partial quotients is a whole lot of fun. Set up your think box, hundreds, tens, and ones. Next, look at the problem because we've only just begun. Using friendly numbers is the way to go. Put your number on the outside and your answer below. So I'm going to start up here with my hundreds. 6 times 100 is 600, and I can do it because 600 is less than. So I'm going to put my number on the outside and my answer below. Subtraction comes next. Yeah, you know it's getting real. We're trying to make the dividend completely disappear. 8 minus 0 is 8. 3 minus 0 is 3. 7 minus 6 is 1. Keep using friendly numbers to subtract the dividend. Whoops. It's supposed to be a 1. So I need to keep using friendly numbers. 600 is too big, so I'm going to cross that out. 6 times 10 equals 60. Well, that would work, but 60 is a lot smaller than 138. So I'm going to see what happens if I do 6 times 20. Well, 6 times 20 is kind of hard, but if I take that 0 away, 6 times 2 is 12. Add my 0 back in, that's 120. Nice, I'm getting closer now. Put your number on the outside and your answer below. Subtraction comes next. Yeah, you know it's getting real. We're trying to make the dividend completely disappear. Keep using friendly numbers to subtract the dividend. Okay, I can't use my 6 times 10 anymore, so I'm down to 6 times 1. Now I'm using my multiplication facts. What times 6 gets me to 18? And I know that answer is 3. Subtraction comes next. Yeah, you know it's getting real. We're trying to make the dividend completely disappear. Keep using friendly numbers to subtract the dividend. When you can't subtract again, then you know you've reached the end. Let's wrap this problem up because you know it's getting late. Add up your friendly numbers. There's your answer. Man, you're great. So, Miss Fecklers needs to make 123 batches of cookies. She's going to be cooking all night long. So we used our partial quotients, we used our wrap, we used our friendly numbers to find our answer. All right, let's move on to the next one. Number 13. Now we're moving into section 2, knowledge and understanding. You're going to show me that you have knowledge and understanding of the skills you've learned in class. Number 13 says write a numerical expression that matches the phrase. So this is looking at reading and writing numerical expression standard. So I'm going to take these words and I'm going to turn them into a numbered sentence. Here we go. Find the sum of 6 and 8, then double it. Looking for those operation words, I've got sum. Sum means addition of the answer to an addition equation, so that's addition with parentheses. Then double it. When I double something, that means I multiply it by 2. So find the sum of 6 and 8, then double it. So the first thing I'm going to do is find the sum, 6 plus 8, and then I'm going to double it, times 2. You could also write it 2 times 6 plus 8. Or, if you wanted to get real fancy, you could say 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 8, because multiplication is repeated addition. So any of these would be the correct answer. Let's look at B. Multiply 7 and 10 and then add 9. Multiply 7 and 10 and then add 9. What am I going to do first? 7 times 10 and then add 9. Do I need parentheses? No, I do not. This is a correct answer. However, you could put parentheses if you would like around the 7 times 10. You could also put your 9 in front, and that would work as well. Just make sure those parentheses, if you have them, are around the 7 times 10 because that's what I have to do first. All right, moving on to number 14. Number 14 says Mike solved a division problem using partial quotient strategy. His work is shown below. What is the quotient and remainder of Mike's problem? Explain your thinking in complete sentences. So they've already given me his problem. I just have to tell them the quotient and the remainder. So looking at this, I can see that he solved it out. Here's his friendly numbers on the side, right? Let's wrap this problem up because you know it's getting late. Add up your friendly numbers. 10 plus 5 is 15 plus 1 is 16. So the quotient is 16. The remainder is anything that's left over. The remainder is 3. Now, I have to explain my thinking. I have to explain how I knew what the quotient was and how I knew what the remainder was. Again, I need complete sentences. Mike solved a division problem using partial quotient strategy. What is the quotient and the remainder? Explain your thinking in complete sentences. So I might say something like, I know the quotient is 16 because quotient means the answer to a division problem. In this problem, Mike first used a partial quotient of 10. This let him subtract 120 from the dividend. Do you see how I'm using vocabulary? That gets me more points. That shows that I really understand what's going on. This let him subtract 120 from the dividend. Next, he used a partial quotient of 5 to subtract 60. Finally, he used a partial quotient of 1 to subtract 12. He had 3 left over as his remainder, and his partial quotients added up to 16. This is not the only correct answer. This is just one correct answer. What I really want you to do in this explanation section is show off your knowledge. Show me that you understand partial quotients. So I want to know that you know these friendly numbers are the partial quotients. You have to use them to subtract your dividend, and anything that's left over is your remainder. As long as you show me that, then your explanation is good. Make sure you're writing in complete sentences with capitalization and punctuation. All right, so that is page 2 of your study guide. Remember, come see me in the morning if you have any questions. All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow.